All right, guys, today is a production increasing tip. This video will be fairly short, but I think it'll be nice and to the point. First off, if you've followed along long enough now to where you've seen I did some fertilizing here, trace minerals, fertilizing again, trying to pick up the pace of growth, get the ground in better shape, versus out here where the ground's already in much better shape and the plants are practically doing well without much assistance here other than spraying. There is another tactic that I tend to employ to raise my production even further. So even if you've got your ground running at peak efficiency or as close to possible as peak efficiency, you still have a limiting factor. And this applies for most of the plants that we put in our food plots, including corn, soybean, for anybody that has the ability to get seed from sun hemp. It affects sun hemp. It also affects deer vetch. And that would be the amount of flowers that the plants produce. So when I increase boron, flower rates automatically are going to go up because I've seen it too many times here. Production rate really skyrockets. My secret tactic to boost again is not any type of fertilizer, but honeybees. I have 2 full-size hives and a third hive that we started this year that's about 2/3 the size of the big hives. We use these to up pollination production in the food plot, and they also help out with my giant pumpkins that I grow, even though this year was kind of ratty because of my work. But I want to talk about my previous problem. Once I started getting the soybean to grow more like what I was after, I still had a shortcoming, and that was the pod production. So even with the bigger plants, I kept seeing, something like this. 1, 2, maybe 3 pods. Occasionally I'd find a 4th pod. So the problem was pollination rates were sucky because there just wasn't enough bee activity here to help out. So we purchased them, and that year we had doubled our pod production just in soybeans. So I started finding a lot more 5s, 6s. I found 7, 8, and 9 pods to a cluster. Really ramped up the average production made from these soybean plants. That not only doubled or tripled or even quadrupled my production in some cases, it made the pods last 3 times longer in the same expanse of ground. So I went from losing all my pods in December and maybe early January to where they lasted into April, well into April. Matter of fact, I still had soybean on the stem when I tilled this down to put my summer and spring, or spring and summer blends out. So here's one with some fantastic production. These pods are still young. They will probably double in size from what you see here or more, but that's a lot of pods. These bees are really helping out. Some of these others are still developing here. And here is the, let me get a close-up here. So here's the flowering stem. All these little flowers have potential to make pods. And if they can't get pollinated, they're going to be duds. So these are considered duds for now. This one here might make. That's a dud. It's already dead. That's a dud. All these up here are no good. So when you get your pollination rate up, you have far fewer duds. And that is a huge factor in how long my soybean lasts, how many deer I can feed, and if I have an abundant amount of fall and winter food available, especially this year with the nut crop being as bad as it is out here. So this plant here tells me I've got good good opportunity here to really help last through the nut problem. Other soybean that's in here, I mean, a lot of this is still growing soybean, 5 foot tall or taller. I have several places that manage to hit that 5 foot or higher mark. The rest of it's around 4 to 4.5. So if I can get another good rain on it, I could probably average 5 before this is all said and done. But I really like what I'm seeing here. And if this pod production keeps increasing, I think the closer to 100% I can get, this is like expanding my food plot without having to turn up new ground. That's the way I view this. So a closer to 100 I can get. And I would say the average is about 75% or hair under that mark as far as successful pollination. And now with this new hive, I'd like to see that creep up toward 85 to 90. And maybe when it becomes a full-size hive, I might be at 90 or 95%. Just depends on how many bees we have when the soybean flowers start showing up. And they are out in force. They are really hard and heavy out here. So I hope this video helps you. This is kind of a short video. The whole goal here is to help you raise production and help add size to your deer, because the more of these I can make, the better the high quality food lasts. All right guys, I hope you enjoy this video. If you like that content, hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell, and I'll bring you some more hopefully helpful information here on the next set of videos. Have a good one.